Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. On behalf of everyone at Rev.io, I'd like to thank you for joining us today. Before we begin the presentation, I would like to go over a few housekeeping items. First, audio will automatically come in through your computer speakers. However, if you're having trouble using your speakers or unhappy with the quality of the sound, you can also dial in via phone number and access code listed on the screen. Second, a recorded version of this webinar will be emailed to you within 2 weeks. Third, we will be having a Q&A session at the end of the event. Please submit your questions via the GoToWebinar control panel at any point during the live presentation. For those of you joining us, welcome. Today, Ben Molenbrook from Ready Wireless will be discussing Ready Broadband, the IoT platform provider's new risk management solution. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Ben. Ben is the Director of Product Management at Ready Wireless. Ben's passionate about technology and the Internet of Things industry, but even more in applying these technologies and principles to create innovative and useful solutions. Ben lives in the heart of the Silicon Prairie in Iowa City, Iowa, with his wife Lauren and 3-year-old Dachshund Rizzo. Now I'll turn it over to Ben.
Thanks, Delaney. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever in the world you guys may find yourself. Welcome to my webinar. As Delaney said, my name is Ben Molenbrook, and I'm the Director of Product at Ready Wireless. Today, I'm going to walk you through a business continuity solution of one of our products, with the focus being on what we call Ready Broadband. For the next series of several minutes here, I'm going to walk you through and talk to you guys all about business continuity and business continuity management, and what success and how these units looks like and feels like. I'll have time at the end for questions. Please jot them down as I progress through. I can't promise to answer everyone, but I can promise to do my very best. I know there's a lot of time here for me, but I'm also aware that webinars are the easiest way to get 5 minutes of information on a topic by spending an hour listening to them. So I'll do my best at keeping everyone awake. Quick history of Ready Wireless. Ready Wireless is located in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and we've been in business for approximately 15 years. We are a leading mobile virtual network enabler and aggregator, and we've offered multi-carrier, multi-band connectivity across the United States. For more than a decade, we've had different brands and enterprise customers that have trusted Ready Wireless to deliver business-critical technology solutions and managed services. Technology, product marketing support, and backup support. We've got all the experience to guide you through launching and developing your brand at an unmatched speed to market. 5 years ago, we made the conscious decision to jump into this crazy world of the Internet of Things, and we have since launched 4 products in the industry, and one of them being Ready Broadband. So the introduction to Ready Broadband IoT solutions, I imagine that the majority of you on this webinar either run or assist or somehow help out your business or other businesses in operating as efficiently and optimized as possible. Our solutions are designed to combine to do just that. Our devices here, so specific to Ready Broadband, are the fastest way to deploy and manage different kinds of internet at scale. Period. We offer instant broadband internet that scales, extends, and adapts to meet your business and personal needs. These solutions are ideal for a lot of different varieties for business, mobile, rural, and even your mobile home or your boat. We have a specialized unit that I'll focus more time on here that packages some of our routers with sensors for any type of vertical, whether it's in the restaurant industry, the hospitality industry, what have you. We understand that manual monitoring, walking into places, taking temperatures is risky business. It's really impossible to do that 24 hours a day, and periodic monitoring, it's just unreliable at best. So there's missed readings. Employees often miscalculate, misread, and those readings, they just don't manage to take human errors. They rush through readings to get back to more important tasks. Even still, the fact remains that a lot of these equipments or some of the stuff that employees use can break down at any time of the day or night without you knowing. So without a monitoring system in place that I'll get to later on here in the webinar, these companies, these organizations stand to lose a lot of money, tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of dollars. These are all associated with just manual monitoring or occasional monitoring. And It's not limited to just wages, fines, unexpected equipment failures, just wasted inventory. I mean, you have things that die or rot. All of this stuff can just be wrapped up and, lost because of a simple equipment or human error. So what is Ready Broadband? We like to say it's IoT ready. It's IoT in a box. It's IoT ready in a package. Here at Ready, we kind of have a simplified belief that every hardware, every solution deployment is very sensible, and it's significantly more affordable solution. It's just waiting to be unearthed. That's kind of what we figured out, and that's why we've designed the solution we have. With nearly 2 decades of experience inside the downstream trades and the ins and outs of the wireless technology, our company, our leadership really prides itself on problem solving, cost-effective and innovative ways to bring your application to life. So this is just a good look at some of that, of what's all encompassing in what we're calling Ready Broadband, or I'll allude to as Ready Sensors as well too. So continuing on, of what is Ready Broadband? So for those of you that may not know it, it's basically a router. We know modern businesses rely on internet connectivity, and an outage of your ISP or your internet could create downtime and lost sales that cost businesses tons of money. So what we have designed is an easy to install failover solution that if and when your internet goes down, you can fail over to the cellular network. So we'll detect outages and automatically switch you over to 4G LTE coverage. It's seamless. You'll never know that you've failed over. So it will ensure that your computers, your phones, your credit card terminals, all of that's operated from your Wi-Fi is going to stay online. And you're going to have complete visibility through the alerts and the usage monitoring to know how much you've consumed. What makes this solution really unique is the flexibility of the devices that we have. They can be used, as mentioned, as failover, so that to ensure that you're never going to lose connectivity. These also can be utilized as what we call as pop-up network for businesses that might be waiting on your internet service provider or conferences that you might attend. So we use these solutions in retail, if a newly opened office, if the fiber guys haven't gotten to the office yet and are unable to drop the fiber lines for several weeks, but the business is open, they need something to run their internet off of. So that's where this pop-up network term comes to play. In addition to functioning as a failover, a seamless transition to the cellular network or a pop-up network, this device can also be used, believe it or not, as an in-cab Wi-Fi. So think charter buses or party buses or over-the-road trucking. All of this comes from one unit that's the size, that can be plugged into the 12-volt plug-in. Truly, what we've realized is sometimes the most powerful things are definitely the simplest. And we've made this advanced connectivity, this seamless transition and communication and overall control of products that work for several different customers. A little bit more on broadband failover. Apologize here as I get sorted on the right slide. As mentioned, this is an instant, easy to install failover solution. So one of the things I want to drag to your attention is this, on the right-hand side, the cost to a small business when the internet goes down is $427 per minute. That's been estimated by Gartner Research. And what that means is we understand that your internet's going to go down. Primary internet service providers offer 99.5% availability standard. And what that means is it equals to about 4 hours of downtime a month for your business. You don't know when that downtime is going to happen, but you can ensure that it's going to happen. It's not a question of if, but when. So when you add that up, that's almost $30,000 an hour each month. That is really, really cost inhibitive for small businesses. So you just imagine what would happen if during peak business hours, while your sales are booming and critical data is being updated, your wired connection fails at one more locations. This happens all the time. You've got guys that accidentally cut lines, or your ISP fails, or cyber attacks, or lightning strikes, whatever it is. A lot of different enterprises with branch offices, the consequences of this really ripple across the entire companies. I mean, it's an immediate hit to revenue that you'll see right away. You'll have compliance issues for non-PCI. Your inventory management definitely becomes inoperable, which becomes a tangled mess. Anything that you may be running off of that, any cloud-based applications, any of your cameras, your doorbells, your cash registers, your data storage, they stop working, they stop syncing. Your IT service provider has to come there and save the day, which is going to cost for them to come there, cost for them to be on site and identify and fix the issue. That does harm, and it overall, I mean, more importantly, what kind of goes unseen here is the damage to your reputation and your loyalty that results in further lost revenue, which is really hard to calculate, but it's a guarantee that it's going to happen if you become an unreliable business. We understand that a high-speed connection is 100% vital for conducting business today. From the cloud-based storages to all the apps to the phones and your video conferencing, cash registers, what the internet is doing is powering such a large portion of your business operations that there's so much dependency on it, and it becomes a lifeline, which presents an element of risk for businesses that become unprepared in the event for an internet connection becomes unavailable. This downtime, I'll keep saying this, it really costs you guys, it costs businesses a lot. There's an interesting study that was done by Nationwide Insurance that suggests 65% of business owners say it's imperative to create a preparedness program, but only 23% have actually done it. So if you're operating or assisting in operating a business without a failover solution, you're definitely 100% exposing yourself to an unnecessary and an undue risk. As I mentioned, these devices have a variety of different capabilities. In addition to offering the uninterrupted service that you can rely on and your customers expect for you, these devices can act as your primary internet service. So I mentioned pop-up network. We have several customers, one of them being Trek Bikes. Trek Bikes, you may be familiar with, is a Madison-based company, and they've seen rapid and continued success throughout the Midwest. And they're opening stores and office space at a fairly rapid pace, and they're outpacing that of the fiber providers of laying the fiber. So they need internet to run its day-to-day operations in its retail stores, but they have that issue of it takes weeks to get there. So they've called us. They use these devices. They don't want to halt sales and wait for the fiber guys to get there. So they dropped in a router with LTE service. Takes 90 seconds to install. 90 seconds versus 4 weeks. Sounds like a heck of a lot better deal. In-vehicle Wi-Fi. So this is the party bus stuff. This is the cabs, the buses, the small charter buses, the over-the-road truckers. If they stop at a rest stop and they need internet, instead of consuming that from your phone, you can get one of these solutions to plug in your 12-volt battery and run your tablets off of that, and you have access immediately. So it's very easy to use. It goes off of a cigarette lighter. Those back home can see when this is being operative, if you can manage it through reporting and the usage alerts too. So you can put some restrictions around that if and when an individual would like to use this in their cab. One of the things that I've mentioned is we've got a package solution that we're calling Ready Sensors. You've seen some images on this before. It's intelligent sensor management. So we use our routers and we utilize sensors that work with them to help you manage issues, as you can see here, from a variety of different things that happen to everybody, every business, from leaks, temperature monitoring, pest control. Believe it or not, I think we've partnered and we've created a better mousetrap from door detection. All this stuff, you can utilize these devices to ensure that these are managed and you're aware of them. And this packaged with our failover solution, you can ensure that it's always going to be there, even when your internet fails. So a lot of these smart devices, so call it, become really dumb really quickly when your internet goes out. Not with this bundled solution in a failover solution. This is something that will stay smart all the time. One of the verticals we've seen a lot of success in is cold chain solutions, temperature and humidity monitoring, automated temperature monitoring. A lot of hospitals, bars, restaurants, grocery stores, and schools even use this worldwide. This works by taking one of these sensors, putting it inside a refrigeration unit, and then you've got temperature monitoring for 24/7, 365. When they fall out of that range that you may have preset, an notification is instantly sent through a text message, and then you can manage it there as well. So you can be remote. You don't need to have that human element of somebody in there with a reader. You can figure that out yourself. So in addition to that, this can accomplish many different things. You can get rid of all of those paper logs and eliminate human error and manual readings, and obviously save save time and money by operating at a very streamlined manner by reducing your labor costs. You can increase your compliance. So as folks in the brewery industry, restaurant industry know that there's federal, state, and local regulatory compliances, you can make sure that you're up to par with that with these accurate readings. And most importantly, which is kind of mission critical, is to protect what's in there, to protect the inventory. You can avoid that spoilage, unexpected inventory loss, all of that. You can ensure that that will always be up and running. One of the neat things too I want to call out is this, what we kind of encompass as facility management. You can monitor your waste in your bins and your containers with some of our applications. These sensors are designed to use ultrasonic, robust, and different kind of shock resistance. They're fully functional for this kind of industry. And the benefits of doing this is you can, first off, find out where these bins are. You can prevent any kind of overflow, and you can optimize the collection route. So you know when these things are full. You can, again, reduce your cost and time savings instead of having manual people have to go out there and check it. You can monitor the waste. You can optimize the collection, and additionally, you can detect and alert on other bin statuses, trash bin statuses, such as flame risk, and if there's any incline, if it fell over. You can do all of that from just slapping a sensor on there. And kind of encompassed here, there's not a picture to represent this, but I'd definitely be remiss if I didn't call out that smart rodent control that I alluded to earlier in this, the smarter mousetrap. So what it is it's a mousetrap that helps facilities reduce the time and money of having people, have to go out and check these things. It's a real thing, and most people don't like talking about it because it's gross and you think that things have mice or whatever, but it's definitely there. It's in the hidden corners of there, and what you can do is put one of these in your restaurant, and you'll be alerted to these things, and you'll know when something's in the trap, so you don't have to spend the manual labor of going there to check it. So personally, it's my favorite. I think that's a neat device, and it's a neat vertical to help manage your facilities, your hospitals, your restaurants, and the like. On top of that, the hospitality solutions, so the hotels, any of the Airbnbs or hospitals as well, you can probably infer from what I've gone through that a lot of these routers, the router sensor management solution, this speaks to this vertical in spades. In addition to the refrigeration, the temperature, the waste bin, the rodent control, all of that. One of the neat things that we called out here is this panic button. So you can protect any staff that you have on site with a button that they can have as a necklace or on their cart. And if they happen to be in distress or threatened or anything, they can push this button. And what's happened when this button is pressed is a request for help is essentially sent. It's not a 911 call, and a manager on site can locate this employee, where they're at, the exact room and floor location, and then an incident report is generated. So a detailed report is documented, and you can have some team response for it. There's no dead zones for this. There's no floor hopping. This is a tried and true method that we're starting to see a lot of traction with in this industry as well too. One of the last things I want to call out here is workplace occupancy. So related to the panic button, we've got a neat package here that installs sensors around your facilities to know how exactly your office space, your housing space, your rental space is being utilized so that you can take some steps to reducing costs. So if people aren't at their desk or they're not utilizing a conference room or things like that, or a bathroom, it really helps you get a good idea of improving the occupant experience with more of an efficient workspace. So a lot of what we've learned is companies that do this, that track their workplace utilization, are twice as likely to report some cost savings or cost avoidance opportunities in their work. This is really designed and really perfect for companies that have any size that are just looking to save some costs on operational expenses or co-working spaces, office relocations, really anywhere that attendance is crucial and really kind of measured. Overall, so all encompassing, as I mentioned, we're a connectivity company as well. As devices and the internet becomes more and more ubiquitous, it's definitely become important, even more difficult to manage connection and stability, especially in these environments that run mission critical applications. So it's absolutely vital to have this always on connectivity, regardless of where you're located, regardless of what carrier you may need. This is one thing of the benefit of Ready Wireless is through our agreements with the carriers, we can offer this throughout the U.S. and throughout really, I mean, some of the areas that the majority of the carriers may not. I want to call out, so I've spent a good deal of time talking about Ready Broadband and the different variants of that, the sensor management, the failover, the pop-up network. We've got other IoT brands as we've progressed in this space too. We have a fleet management solution that is really focused on distracted driving as trying to combat that epidemic. And what makes this solution unique is it comes with all the bells and whistles of what you would expect with the telematics system, but you're able to identify if your drivers happen to be on their phone while they're driving. So we log that. You can find reports to that. And what's really neat is you can not only identify if they're on their phone, but kind of what they're doing. So we log it as two different events. If they're physically open their phone, with their thumb to swipe it open, or if they just answered a phone call. So that's a little bit about that. And then also related to that is asset tracking. So there's a lot of things that companies have that they just want to know where they're at because they're high valued assets. They drop something in the field and they may not see it for 3 months, but they want to make sure that it's there. We've got devices similar to our sensor units that can be slapped and tracked, and they're on there and you know where they're at. You can set alerts and do some reporting around that as well too. So I wanted to make sure that even though I spent the majority of time speaking on broadband, we've got other solutions, and all of these solutions, so I'll bring it back to broadband. They include hardware, the connectivity. We've got a customer support team here as well, and then depending on the device you choose, different kinds of platforms which are open up to API integrations as well. You get an app, you get SMS notifications as well too. So this is all inclusive for the Ready Broadband solution as well as the other brands that are listed there on the right-hand side. So I promised everybody that I wouldn't go too long, and as I mentioned in the beginning, we've got a lot of different variety of products that we'd like to offer. So if there are any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I know I promised you sometimes can go an hour and you feel like you only learned 5 minutes of information, so I hope it was compact and information rich for those that attended.
Great, Ben. Thank you so much for your time today and for discussing Ready Broadband. Before we begin the Q&A portion of the presentation, I'd like to thank our audience for joining us today and review a few housekeeping items. The first reminder is that we're always interested in topics that you'd like to learn more about, so please submit your topic ideas in the Q&A box. In addition, the full webinar recording will be emailed to you within 2 weeks. Lastly, if you've submitted any questions during the presentation that don't get addressed in the live Q&A, we will be following up with you individually via email. Now I'd like to ask a few questions from our audience. Ben, how easy is the installation for these routers?
Sure, yeah, you definitely don't need a network engineering degree to understand how to connect these devices. So it's really a piece of cake. I know I mentioned 90 seconds, and that's probably an overestimate. So if you know how to plug in a Glade plug-in or one of those wall plugins that make your house smell well, this is as easy as that. Plug something into a 12 volt or a car battery. This is as easy as that.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Ben, for your time.
Yes, thanks everybody for attending.